straight up approached my husband and she is drop dead gorgeous. She definitely looks better than me. He said at some point she started shooting her shot him even though she knew he was married, saying she just really fell for him and can't let this opportunity pass. He said that he was hesitant once he realized that she was hitting on him, and he was also excited because this literally has never happened in his life. In the past, he repeatedly said that women, at least attractive ones like me, have it easy, because we can lean back and let the guys approach us, whereas for him it was always hard work to even get a single date. I always replied that it's not really like that and that being attractive has its own problems, but he then always reminded me of the fact that he had to work really hard to get me to date him, too. He swears he has only met her one more time, for lunch, after the first encounter, and that he thinks it is not yet an affair. However, he thinks he wants to go forward with her, because, as he put it, this is the first woman who is genuinely interested in me. I didn't have to text her for 3 months to get a date or anything. I can't let this pass, or something along those lines. My memory is a bit hazy. The 3 months refers to the time it took him to get a date with me, BTW. And that is why he says he is breaking up with me. He says it's the right thing to do, because he wants to continue contact with her, but also feels doing that would be emotional cheating and he doesn't want to cheat on me, so he ends it before actually starting something with her. I feel devastated. I know there's nothing I can do. I want to be mad at him, but I am also mad at myself. I really liked him when we first met. Why did I give him a hard time? If I had said what I wanted back then, if I had pursued him instead of playing hard to get, he probably wouldn't be interested in that woman. But I always felt if a woman does that, she shows she's easy and I didn't just want to get laid, so I thought I must act that way, and now it is biting me in the butt frown and I of course am very mad at him, but he didn't even cheat on me. He's behaving exactly the way I always say people should act when they fall in love with someone else. Ugh. I kinda wished he had actually cheated on me with her. That would actually make it easier. Thanks for letting me rant. I don't need advice. I know I'm cooked. Edit. Thank you all so much for your comments, this is much appreciated, and also some of you made me really think. I still feel this was unwarranted, and if he was so unhappy he should have told me, but I guess I wasn't as good of a wife as I thought. I didn't really show him that I love him, and why, and didn't put in much effort, and someone said he was starving for attention and I guess that's my fault in a way. Still, I think just dropping me like this isn't right. I managed to get the courage to talk to my BFF, and we'll meet later so I can tell her everything, and she spontaneously will take me out for a spa weekend. I hope I can get my head clear there. I was so scared, but she was not at all condescending. She's the best. I feel like I couldn't have mustered up the courage for that were it not for all your support, so thank you all so much, even the critical ones. Update: yesterday, my husband and I met for the first time since he got up and left last Friday, and frankly, after the meetup, I was very shaken, so it took me until today to be able to write about this, since so many people have reached out to me with helpful comments and all. I think you deserve an update, but I really wasn't up to it yesterday. Also, this is really long, so sorry in advance, there's just so much to cope with. So here we go. The situation felt very awkward, and I got the impression the whole time that he genuinely feels sorry for how things were and that what he is doing hurts me. I know many of you said he's a douche, a cheater and whatnot, and I really understand you and are mad at him myself, but on the other hand, you all do not know him like I do. He's a very honest person, he despises lying, and is really bad at this. He carries his heart on his tongue and I know him well enough to sense his feelings. Did that help me? Not much. Now, even if I wished, I couldn't paraphrase our talk, and I am sure I will miss certain things, and overall, it was a mixture of him telling and me asking questions, and all is a big flurry in my head, so I'll just summarize I guess. First he told me that he really loved me, and he still does, but he feels that his feelings for the new woman are stronger. He told me her name, let's call her Jasmine, not her real name. He admits Jasmine is gorgeous, but claims that that on its own was in no way relevant for his decision. Yeah, right. He told me that she originally approached him because of a book he was reading during lunch. Supposedly, the book's author is her uncle, and she was able to tell my husband some funny stories about the time her uncle drafted that book. He says he and Jasmine have very similar interests. Jasmine also reads sci-fi as he does, because of said uncle who is a sci-fi author, and both like gaming and stuff. He says after they exchanged numbers, they initially only wrote about stuff like that, and later on they talked about other hobbies and interests and found more and more common ground as he put it. He also admitted that like 2 weeks or so ago he started to wonder if he should actively tell me about her, seeing how she turned from an acquaintance to what he deems a friend. I interjected that they don't know each other long enough to consider her a friend, but he says he feels Jasmine is really genuine with him. This is a man who cannot pick up social clues unless they are spelled out for him. But whatever, he also feels a lot more in tune with Jasmine than he does with me. Admittedly, we seem to have less common interests, but I never felt like I have to be exactly like my partner. Opposites can complement each other well, and I always felt we do. Well, looks like he feels much happier with someone catering to his interests a lot more. He also became a bit self-critical then. He says after he left for his friend's place, he sat down and reread his conversation history with Jasmine, and he realized that she had indeed been flirting with him before she told him she wanted more. It didn't start out flirtatious, but he admits he totally missed that. He opened up the app on his phone and showed me the beginning, and then when she started flirting, he might have tuned the messages, but at least the beginnings were really ready and friendly. The flirtatious parts however were blatantly obvious in my eyes. He actually blames himself for that and says that while that doesn't change his feelings for her, it means he should have noticed this earlier and, well, he said, make the decision to pursue her earlier. That sort of broke me and I started sobbing, because it sounds as if I never had a chance compared to Jasmine. Frown. He even wanted to console me, and I allowed that for a couple minutes, but then I sought some distance again. It both felt good and bad to be in his arms. Frown. Then it was time to ask me why she is so attractive to him that he leaves me, his wife, for just the mere possibility of being with another woman. I mentioned that someone, I didn't say Reddit, suggested she might be a scammer, or just interested in breaking up marriages and going after men who are taken, and such. He, of course, vehemently denied that. Supposedly, they met last Sunday to go out for dinner, and they talked about the fact that she approached him even though he is married, and she claims to have a really bad conscience about this, and that she never would have done it had she not felt such a deep connection between them. Blah blah blah. I must admit I really struggled through that part, because if it is true, it hurts me, and if it isn't, it hurts even more that he falls for BS. Frown. He then told me in excruciating detail about his dating life, and how long he was a virgin, and how he was always treated by girls back in middle school and high school, and by the women in college and later on, how he really feels that he always has to be the one initiating, fighting even for a chance, and felt like he was always treated as unworthy by almost all women, and how that made him bitter. He admitted that, but also how he always thought that someone who truly fits him, fits his personality, his character, his being, would be someone who would not make him jump through hoops, someone who'd outright tell him she is intrigued by him and wants him. He says he loves me dearly and was always very grateful for being with me, but that even with me he always felt somewhere between a beggar and the subject of a pity party, where I bestowed the grace of my companionship onto him instead of actually liking and wanting him. When I asked him whether that means he settled for me, he vehemently denied that. He said when we started to date, I really treated him better than any woman had done before, so he really thought this was what he had been looking for, and before meeting Jasmine he never felt like he needed more. I of course tried to tell him that I am not with him out of pity for anything and explained why I made him wait 3 months, and why I think the man should court the woman and so forth, and then I also admitted that I might not have given him the appreciation he deserved. This time, it actually was his turn to drop tears for a bit. He said hearing that made him both grateful and unhappy that he never really communicated better about this. I told him that hearing him say that feels like he is putting the blame on me, and I swear to God, his eyes like doubled their size, and he looked genuinely shocked, and he apologized many times and said he did not want me to think he actually has any bad feelings about having to wait back then, and that this is a situation where no one is to blame, but especially not me. He said I have been a wonderful wife and all, but that with Jasmine, it just feels different, and like a deeper connection that the two of us have, and that while he thought that I was wonderful, he now realizes that what he really was looking for in life is something else. So he says reconciliation is not really an option because he realized that we're not right for each other, and even if it doesn't work out with Jasmine, he knows now that he actually needs something that I just don't have. I mentioned marriage counseling, and he said that it's not like our marriage has issues, but that the issue is that we're just not right for each other. There were more things we said, and maybe I'll add some later, but right now I am too mentally exhausted, especially because I still don't feel like I can hate him, because he felt so freaking honest. I think he at least truly believes all the things he said, but that woman still might be a total liar or a scam. He at least promised to be careful with her financial-wise, but he assured me she's not that. Story 2. I think my boyfriend might be an copycat. I've been dating my boyfriend for almost a year now. We've been friends before and he would tell me all about his one-night stands, the girls he's sleeping with, and even bring them to my place. I blame myself sometimes because I knew he was like this, but I still fell in love with him. After a few months of dating, I caught him trying to cheat on me. I was deeply hurt, but a part of me somehow expected that from him. We patched things up, and a few months later, I found all of these videos of him jerking off in his hidden photos. I confronted him about it, but he said he enjoys watching himself, so I let it go. Then I checked his messenger apps archived in spam chats and read that he was pretending to be a 12-year-old boy. He's 20, texting girls around the age of 12 to 16. I searched his emails and found a bunch of notifications from Facebook saying you got a chat from this person, and they were all little children. I also saw that he joined Facebook groups where kids/teenagers try to find a dating partner, or some weird groups that were all dirty specifically for those ages. It made my stomach drop. I confronted him about this and he swore he was not an ep and that he likes to pretend being a young boy experiencing sexual activities for the first time. So he would text these young girls asking stuff like, have you ever watched porn? Do you touch yourself? Have you tried doing it? And asks them to teach him how to jerk off cause it's his first time getting hard. Actually practicing it with literal children is just disgusting. I threw up for 2 months straight after that. Okay, now the most messed up part is, I'm still with him. I absolutely hate him and hate myself for this. I think what he did was very wrong and I tried to report it to the police, but I didn't have enough proof. Unfortunately, a part of me loves him so much that I'm attached to him. I know that physical violence is never the answer to anything, but I almost broke his nose. He's saying he's changed, but I just can't truly believe him. I get constant mood swings now because of this. I'll be happy, in love, completely normal, and then suddenly I start crying, getting violent. If you are reading this, please check your little siblings or kids' phones. Don't let something like this happen to them. They will think they're fine, but later on it could cause mental issues or intimacy problems. Just PLS, I hate myself and my boyfriend. I'm sorry.